Russian troop withdrawal is in the news, but is it just a Russian ruse? Hello, this is Greg Allison Wing Greg's coming to you on the 26th of December 21. Time on deck, 22:39 hours Central Standard Time. Now, as I just mentioned, the news is all a ruse about a Russian troop withdrawal. Well, what is it? Is it real or is it Memorex, to quote an old commercial? Here's what we know. Russian defense minister stated today that after observing his troops training in the Crimea, the decision has come to withdraw something on the order of 10,000 troops. Okay, 10,000 troops, making it sound like a big troop withdrawal. Well, there's a number of things to note there. Is that of last count, there was something on the order of 104,000 troops on the Russian Ukrainian borders, and what they're talking about is a fraction of that at best. They may go more if they actually choose to withdraw troops. But here's what we've noted. So far, nobody's actually seen any troops being withdrawn. And this could also just be a troop rotation because a lot of the troops have been there on the border for some time. So what is really cooking? And the reason that you have to ask some questions here and wonder about it is they just got through moving. I mean, they were just like yesterday, still moving in lots and lots of heavy equipment. We're talking tanks and just everything under the sun, all kinds of armored equipment moving in massive quantities. So why would you be moving it in and then just immediately say, okay, we had a good training exercise and now it's over? Because that's what they did. They said they were having a drill and it was all over. And as you may know, Russia has made claims about these drills. Okay, we're going to get in further into this, but bear you in mind, this is part of my eyes wide open and head on a swivel news so that you will know and can understand what's going on in the world, so you'll know better how to prepare, what to do. In fact, so you'll know to prepare, and better yet, so that you can, with your friends and neighbors, share to know to prepare, because this is how you keep them from coming to eat you when the lights go out. That you don't want. The more people in your neighborhood, your friends and family are preparing, the better off you're going to be. So share my videos far and wide. Tell everyone, yourself and all your friends, to subscribe to my channel, bang the update notification bell, and click all on it. Now, also bear in mind that I do videos on things like growing a garden, which is going to be a very important skill to have should the grid go down, should the balloon go up, as we used to say in our Army, for signal the start of the war with. So we said, should the balloon go up? And also bear in mind that I also have videos about how to eat free from the weeds and the trees, a lot of prepping type topics, including how to purify and sanitize water. Two separate things there, Mr. Dave Hodges. Anyway, and also I've got a specialist, and one of the great specials right now is you can go to my channel and get $100 off 25-year lasting food that gives you 2,000 calories a day per lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 2,000 calories a day. This is a deal that'll make you a winner because a lot of the other competitors only offer 800 calories a day, and those are starvation rations. And by the way, most of them are running out of stuff. So My Patriot Supply is my source. If you go to prepwithgreg.com, it takes you into My Patriot Supply. And there is where you get the special, not their website, but prepwithgreg.com. But you can go into their website from prepwithgreg.com once you check out that amazing special and find all kinds of prep and supplies there. And if you go through my site, it helps me with that too. So there's many other types of prep and supplies, not just food. There's stuff about how to purify and sanitize water, which is going to be one of the most crucial things you can do should the grid goes down, and many other prepping things, including air purification. So check it out, prepwithgreg.com. Now we're going to get all into this, and we're going to be quick here tonight because I don't have a whole lot to say about this, but just to talk about what's really going down. So like I said, Russia has said, hey, we're going to withdraw troops. This is what their defense minister said, but we're not seeing any evidence of that yet. Maybe they will. Maybe it's just a troop rotation. And even if they did withdraw some back, are they going to pull the equipment back too? How much? Yeah, time might tell, but it might tell real fast. If they're not moving a lot of equipment back, you better watch out. This could be a ruse, a Russian ruse. It could be that they're going to throw them back in there. Now, many of you know quite well that I've said quite a few times that we should have made peace with Russia. We should have made peace with them and use them as an ally against what will in the future be a common foe. I mean, right now, Russia and China are cozying up to each other, but then we're kind of forcing that arrangement. Russia's had nowhere else to turn, and China has been out to burn. So they have made, natural bedfellows. But It didn't have to be that way. It really didn't. We've kind of forced this situation upon them. So, when the wall fell, the Russians were looking to us for help, and we went in like a bunch of vultures and picked their bones clean. Putin rose up to protect his people, basically against the American capitalist vulture capitalists, I should say, not regular capitalists, but vulture capitalists who were just picking their bones clean. And all the news media and everything thought that was the thing to do, and they went along with that. And they've hated Russia ever since they stood up to take care of themselves. You do remember now, Russia is a Christian nation, but they are at odds with Ukraine. They are at odds with Europe. They are at odds with the United States today. But we have demonized them. We pushed them into the corner. And one of the things that, the previous president might have been so disposed and made peace with them, but he was on the defensive all the time because there was this claims of a collision between him and Russia, that Russia meddled in the elections and blah, blah, blah. And there was all this talk of a dossier. But it turned out a lot of that stuff didn't hold water. There was no dossier. It was fake. And that's been proven. So now what we got to look at is, because of all this political chatter against Russia, because somebody didn't like who was the president, we've got an enemy with Russia, potentially, at least with that side of our house here. If we go to war with Russia, it might be because of that. So guys, if the mushroom clouds are rising over your cities, think about that. Just give it a thought when you see that little white star falling upon your town, and you see the big flash of light. And if you look at that, you're going to be blind. You don't want to see it. Let's hope we never see those things. War is an awful thing, and I did not advocate it. I will always tell you this: there's good people of every race, color, creed, and religion in every city, town, and hamlet in the world. Now, some of these people have been lured into a certain way of thinking by the news medias in their country, because they only get one side of the news and they get it constantly, very hypnotically, like you Americans today. Everybody else. This happens worldwide. The news media just drums. It's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, and people follow and follow. They don't mean to at first, maybe, because they're just watching a program, but they get it. The programming. Yes. Peoples all over the world are programmed. They're played against each other. That's what nations do when they want to have an adversary, when they want to go to war. They dehumanize the other side, but we're all humans. See, that's what's happening. The nations, the people, the power divide us and play us against each other, even internally here in this country. Play us against each other so that they can have their power, divide and conquer. And they make a ton of money with these games. Unfortunately, our lives are at risk over it. Unfortunately, the whole world and our future is at risk over it. And these games are a little bit too much. So you got to think for yourself. I've been to Moscow, and I'm going to tell you what, I found a lot of really good people there, really nice people. I enjoyed my trip there. I dealt with scientists and engineers at Rock Cosmos and Inky, and I was amazed. They're amazing people. They've done amazing things in their lives. And I met a lot of good-hearted people there. I enjoyed my trip quite a bit there. I felt at home in Mother Russia. Not to say I'm a Russian sympathizer, but I'll tell you what, they built back a lot of churches real fast over there. Lots of them. You'll see a lot of beautiful churches that just popped up out of nowhere as soon as the Soviet Union fell. So there you go. So we didn't have to be at odds with it, but the problem is today, suddenly we're finding ourselves potentially there. Let's hope we can calm this situation down and cooler heads prevail, but that may not be what's in store. And I'm not trying to judge one side or the other here. My point here is to tell you to prepare. That is my point, and for you to spread your word and to others to do that. Also, though, I do make the point to tell you that sometimes you can get involved in the politics of trying to pursue peace. You can go to freedomrestorationfoundation.org. You'll find an action center there that tells you everything you need to know about how to find your representatives in the House and Senate, how to contact them, how to email them, call them, or write them letters, what to put in these letters, how to approach them, and all kind of fine details about exactly how to do that. So if you got something on your mind, you can use that resource center at freedomrestorationfoundation.org. That is the website that I've established and that I pay for. It's a privilege of being president of an august group called the Freedom Restoration Foundation. I was founder, but we've got a lot of good board members and a lot of good people in the organization, and we're going to be growing. But we're trying to get it out there what we can do to promote freedom. Freedom doesn't know race, color, or creed, my friends. Freedom is freedom. It's our God-given rights to all of us. Whether you believe in God or not, freedom is freedom. Okay, I do believe in a greater creator, and I've said that many times. But irrespective of that, freedom is something to cherish. The alternative is tyranny, and tyranny is not a pretty thing, my friends. Just go look at North Korea. Go look at Venezuela. See how China is going downhill today. That's going to be a future video. I really meant to do that today. I kept meaning to do that many other days, but there's always been another story to tell. So I'm bringing you this other news, breaking news, a lot of other breaking news, mostly concerning Russia and Ukraine. Now, Russia tells us this. They said, well, this was all a training exercise, and we've got the right to train anywhere in our borders we want to. Okay, true, you do. It's your borders, your country. You can train anywhere you want to. But let me show you guys something. Let's share something. Let's share something and set some perspective here on this matter. Ding, ding. Let's blow this presentation up. Bang, bing. Okay. Look at this, guys. This is where the concentration of this activity has been taking place. Crimea, of course, which the Russians annexed from Ukraine. Rostov and Krasnodar. But also the Donbass region, which has Russian separatists located here, and around the entire border between Russia and Ukraine. Even Belarus has been involved in this. There's been troops up here too. So this whole area of the Ukraine has been surrounded by folks that have been somewhat less than absolutely friendly to Ukraine. So now you said, well, Russia needs somewhere to train, right? So, okay, well, they do have the right to train anywhere, but the fact that they concentrated all this here has been sending strong messages of some type or another. An impending invasion is a good likely conclusion. Why? Because Russia is the largest nation on earth, not by a little bit, but almost twice as big as the next largest nation. I mean, here is the full previous extent of the Russian Empire, guys. So Russia's actually contracted somewhat, but it's still the largest nation on earth by far. So they put all these little forces right down in here when they get all of this area to play in. All of Siberia, huge area here. They got, just so much in Arctic regions, all around Asia, everywhere. Huge territory that they could exercise in a manner that would be much less provocative than where they've been. Yes, it's provocative where they've been. Okay, look at this. Canada is largely normally considered the second largest nation on earth. Russia is almost twice as big as Canada, China, or even the United States. Now, the United States area here is given two different numbers because one number is the number that you would see like in Encyclopedia Britannica. This is a UN number for the United States, but that's based on coastal areas and territories around the waterways. So coastal includes coastal and territorial waters, which other estimate does not include. Go down that way. So really and truly, it just depends on how you count the United States, because we also have islands. We have Hawaii Island, we have Alaska. We got a lot of coastal areas around the United States, a lot of islands with Alaska. Alaska's got more coastline than the rest of the United States put together, probably. Alaska is the Great Land. So, but Alaska used to be Russian. Wow. Good thing good thing that we bought off on Seward's Folly, right? Hey, I love Alaska. I lived there 2 years. Anyway, still, even without Alaska, Russia is the world's largest nation by far. So they got a little room to train if they so choose. But the fact is, they have put all their forces right here and just move stuff in. Of course, it was a provocation. Let's stop the share. Bing. Of course, it was a provocation. Absolutely. What were they really trying to do? Well, we were just training. It just there ain't no training. Yeah, okay, but why did you do it in that manner? Well, there's a lot of possibilities. What they told us and what they did is they tried to get the United States to withdraw from NATO members, or to try to get NATO and U.S. forces to withdraw from NATO member nations. Well, that wasn't going to happen. There was no way that was going to happen. And by treaty, we couldn't even do that. And if we did, entirety of NATO and all of our treaty alliances were just, it's just something you can't do as a nation or as a treaty organization like NATO. So now, did Russia actually think that would happen? Is that why they decided, oh, well, it was just a training exercise and we've had our fun and we're going home? Because they never actually said they were going to invade Ukraine. They made a lot of threats obliquely, but never actually said this is what we're going to do. Now they made references, including Putin, to military action, but didn't say what it was. Didn't say that they were going to invade. They just made lots of oblique warnings. They drew a lot of red lines. They said what the red lines were. They were very explicit about that. But those red lines were red lines that the United States and NATO would consider unacceptable, and still do, and should. So, but Putin has said, okay, yeah, we're going to negotiate. We're meeting. We're going to negotiate in a month. Okay, well, maybe he threw that out there. Sometimes, when you are bargaining, you throw out your high price first. Yeah, it's just a bargain position. You bargain from a hard point. You pick the hard place to come from, and then you bargain from there for what you really want. What do they really want? What are they really driving for? Is this part of a bargain position, or are they still poised to invade Ukraine? Is this just a ploy to buy them time and get everybody relaxed? Because if you were going to invade, you don't tell everybody you're going to invade. That's the last thing you would do. In fact, the best thing to do if you're going to invade is to get the enemy to think, it's over, relax. Okay, we got Orthodox Christmas coming. That'd be one reason maybe Russia sending some troops home. But what happens if somebody turn back around? They just move, 10,000 troops, they might move back in rather quickly. It might be such a visible thing as mounting all the equipment, providing they leave the equipment in place. But now if they start withdrawing this equipment, then you might take them for the word. If you send a massive withdrawal of equipment, troop withdrawal is one thing, but equipment withdrawal is something else. It costs them a lot of money to put all those troops and equipment in place there. We're taking some of the troops home. Okay, I could see that. It could just be a troop rotation. What's going on? What's happening? It's hard to say. We can't exactly get in the head of Putin, but we do know that he wants to reestablish preeminence of the Russian system. He would like to rebuild the Russian Empire. Some people say the Soviet Union. Well, he would like to have the claims, the land on an area like the Soviet Union, but he's not trying to set up a Soviet system, which was communist. They're not communist anymore. And maybe that's why the political left in the United States is somewhat less than absolutely fond of them. I don't know. But whatever the case is, and I've covered in the past how Hillary Clinton claimed that over Syria, she wanted to set up a no-fly zone. And she said this on a talk show when she was running for president, which she first started to the first time around. And she said she wanted to set up a no-fly zone over Syria. Somebody asked her, what would happen if a Russian MiG flew in? She said, well, we'd shoot it down. Laughing. Really? Now, that's a provocation. That's slipping into World War. That is language of World War III. That's batting guana crazy. So, yeah. And Putin supposedly made some major statements of what he would have done had she got elected. I don't know. First strike. That's what he alluded to, allegedly. But again, Putin though is kind of a, he's a pretty straight shooter. He tells you what he thinks usually. So you got to pay attention to what Putin says. He's a ex-KGB agent, but he's also was raised very much in the realm of Christianity, and his mom's a Christian, and he was raised reading this as a kid, including the Book of Revelations, guys. So he sees that a little different than a lot of people here. Something to think about. He probably sees it a little bit differently than we see it, or the way we see Russia's role in it. Russians would have a little different way of seeing that. That I would bet. And what's the case? Guys, here's the case. We are in a period of peril. And the stakes are high. Now, maybe they've been artificially heightened due to misconceptions, misperceptions. Perception is reality in the minds of the people perceiving. Don't ever forget that. It's not the case of what reality is. It's what it's perceived to be in the eyes of the beholder. If they think something's reality, then that's what they're going to act on. To them, that's the reality. They're going to react to it, even if it is way off in la la land. I've often done my videos about rose-colored glasses. If you want to understand somebody, put yourself in their shoes, understand their worldview and the lens through which they see it, and tinted by the worldview they have. Because once you have a worldview, you tend to reinforce it with everything else you see. That was the whole origin of my concept of rose-colored glasses, which was a lesson taught to me by a Sergeant Spivey at when I attended primary leadership school in Fort Richardson, Alaska. Yes, he was a drill sergeant of sorts. Nice guy. I really thought the world of him. He was smart. He was either a buck sergeant or staff. I think he was a staff sergeant, young black staff sergeant. Smartest man I've ever seen. He really had a good way of understanding human psychology. He taught it, and he taught it very well. It made a life mark on me. And it's not necessarily a new concept, but he was really good at teaching it. Okay, that's what I wanted to let you know. And it stuck with me. And so I've shared this concept with you guys several times. So, and I'll credit Sergeant Spivey with that, my friends, from primary leadership course at Fort Richardson, Alaska, back in 1982, I believe. So, Sergeant Spivey, if you're listening, hats off to you, sir. Well, no sergeant wants to be called sir, but he's retired by now. If he's still alive, I hope he is. Anyway, all right, there we go. Now, yeah, I was in the Army. So here's the thing. We don't know what is going to happen next. Russia may well be set on invasion of Ukraine. We've not seen any, my sources tell me, we've not seen any troops being withdrawn yet. There's talk about it. They're saying, oh yeah, we're withdrawing. The media said, okay, Russia's withdrawing. Well, withdrawing is an active verb. For that to be the case, they got to actually be moving people. And there's no evidence of that as yet. And if they do, it could be a troop rotation. Like I said, look to see if they're removing hardware. If they withdraw significant amounts of hardware, okay. I don't see that happening though. Even if they are just trying to put a negotiating point out with us, they'll leave it there. But again, all that could just be a ploy. Whole thing could just be a ploy, a ruse to get us distracted. Watch the birdie. The whole intent could be to go into Ukraine all along. Watch the birdie, watch the birdie, watch the birdie. This is the birdie. Keep your eye here, keep your eye here. Chunk. You don't tell people what you're going to do. And when you line up on the border, like, it's pretty obvious what you're about to do. So if you really want to do it, you want to fake them off. I mean, look at football strategy. You want to fake off a pass, right? Same way in military. Sun Tzu, don't tell them what you're going to do. If you're going to attack, look like you're retreating. Ha ha ha. That's Sun Tzu, right? That's what Russians are doing. That is what the Russians. Oh yeah, we're backing off. We're backing off. We're backing off. We're backing off. We're not coming in. We're backing off. We're not coming in. We're gone. We're out of here, man. Get it? I just moved in on you, telling you I'm out of here. So yeah, don't listen to what I say. Watch what I do. That's the real language to watch. So don't take things at face value. Don't take anything at face value. Question everything. Question me. Question everything. That's fine. A lot of times you guys question me in the comments. That's fine. Oh yeah, people talking about the guy who said they would turn us into this radioactive ash. Yeah, that was a reporter. I said that before. But he was a Russian reporter. And Putin was making some very provocative statements himself. So they kind of went hand in hand enough that that's why I covered it the way I did. And like I said, and I still say it, we should have made peace with Russia. And maybe we'll have that opportunity as yet. But right now we're in a pickle. We're in a tough spot here. And we got to be careful how we get through this. So I hope that don't go kinetic. I really hope it don't. If it does, I think we ought to lend as much support as we can to Ukraine. But I do not think they're not a NATO member. We're not Article 5 bound to them. And so going in and there now would be, it might start World War III. Is that what we want to just burn the earth over? I don't think so. But, I got friends who would disagree. But, should the whole world burn to the center of us, or would it? How do you keep things from escalating? Would it escalate? The Russians are pretty cautious people in general. They have been, especially in the Soviet days. They were very cautious. They didn't want to burn themselves up. We worried about the Mideast because some people had religious concepts, that thought, hey, the whole world's a stage, and it's okay because the new thing is coming. Well, just in fact, they would maybe tell you after the 12th imam comes, this has got to happen. It's got to happen to bring the 12th imam. It has to happen. I don't know. That's what some people allege. I'm not claiming that, okay? Just saying that there's people that think that there's those that think that they have to have this kind of thing happen. And that includes people on our side too. Some Christians think we got to have World War III to bring Jesus Christ back. No, we don't. No, we don't. We're expected to do the right thing. And the right thing, you don't get the right thing by doing the wrong thing, okay? You don't get right by doing wrong. Involvement in war is wrong, okay? It's just plain wrong. So let's just don't make no bones about it. Doing wrong things doesn't make right things. We're expected to do what's right. And then in the end, when the time comes, so be it. It'll be because the time's come, not because you did something wrong to make it come. Okay, just remember that. You're expected to be a good person. People of all religions are really expected to be good people. Sometimes the organizations that run us, just like governments. Now, organizations, governments, that's all the same. They stir us all up against each other. That's what you got to watch out for. Because there's power in stirring up people against other people. Oh yeah, look at this. You help me, you promote me, you stand with me, I'll protect you against these guys, or whatever kind of ruse are running. So many ruses out here, guys. Ruskies don't have ownership on ruses. So just keep that in mind. This is all over. Okay, I'm going too long here. But I'm just trying to put it in perspective for you to understand that whatever the case is, we're still in a pickle. The Russians may really roll into Ukraine. They really might do it. In their minds, they think, or at least they tell each other and tell their people that they're justified in doing it. They have as much as said so. And God forbid, I hope they don't do it. I really do. I hope they don't go into the Ukraine. I hope they do not do that. How do we respond? Yeah, we're talking about doing sanctions. I don't think sanctions are going to mean anything to them. The gain is so big. All these little sanctions we're talking about, I don't think it's going to do anything at all. Unless Europe just stops buying Russian gas. And then Europe's going to freeze to death if they do. Should have got dependent on it in the first place. That was a mistake to let them become so dependent on that. When I saw them going there and starting buying it, saying, oh my gosh, shouldn't go there, but they did. Many of us had great hopes in the past that through massive integration of economies and nations, by getting intertwined, it would be prohibitive and too expensive to get into a war. Boy, we blew that one, didn't we? It made sense, walking around sense, except to dictators and sociopaths that want to take things over irregardless. Okay, we forgot to take that into account because we're thinking like logical people. You think that all people are logical, you think that they'll do logical things. Well, those power-hungry power mongers don't think that way, including the ones over here, for that matter. And we have power-hungry people over here too. So, yeah, they don't have a monopoly on it. We got it too. So, but that's where we use our system. That's where we use the resources that I mentioned on the freedomrestorationfoundation.org. Go there and call people when you see them getting out their nose out of joint, like Senator Wickers in Mississippi, who said that we would nuke them. No, tell him no. Don't use that kind of language. Don't use that kind of language. So what if the Russians said that? You know what I mean? If it's just medium mobiles, so what? Did they mean it? I don't know. They might. They could do it. See, that's the sad thing. They have the weapons. They have the systems. They have the technology. It's not just technology in a lab. It's in the field. So, we need to beef up ourselves. We need to get hypersonic missiles that actually fly, which maybe means we need to not use the ginormous defense contractors we've been using because they're so overblooded. Maybe we need to culture a new breed of slim, lean, mean companies that don't have all the bureaucracy and bloated systems that the big aerospace contractors have had for so long. Somebody that can be responsive and make things happen, kind of like SpaceX in the world of aerospace on the defense side of the house. That's what we need. We need SpaceX type defense companies instead of the big old traditional dinosaurs that we have today. Yeah, that would help. We need, when I say this, not to develop war. Developing defense is not developing war. The whole thing is if you're strong and you're tough on the playground, the bully's not going to pick on you. The puppy dog is not going to bite porcupine. Okay. And if you're also a tough guy on the playground, nobody's going to mess with you. You ever remember this in school? Think back. The big guys, they would usually sit around and laugh. They were laid back and jolly. Ha ha ha. Everybody was like, they could afford to be. Nobody was going to pick on them. What's the most playful animals? Now, see, it's something else. A lot of people when they see somebody being playful, he's not a threat. Look, he's a goofball. He's playful. Better go look at the lion cubs. What's the most playful animals in the safari? In the savannas? The predators. The predators. The predators are playful. Why? Because they can afford to be. Strength. The meek shall inherit the earth. It didn't mean to be just telling meek, to be a little weakling. No. They're really, the languages that used at the time, you'd be strong, but you didn't use it. Abuse it. Have the strength, but you don't go around beating people up because you got it. You be that big guy who's jolly, sitting back, relaxed. He ain't got to use it unless he's forced to. But you're not going to go jump on him. No. That's the way to be. Strong. So nobody pick on you. But you also should not abuse that by going around and picking on others and creating the ire out of them. And some of our agencies have been guilty of that in the past. And just stop that. Another reason, go to Freedom Restoration Foundation.org and use the resources there when you see those kind of things being overdone. Hey, this agency running around doing this, kicking out other presidents in other countries, and they need to stop that business. We need to be stewards of our own government. We can do that. So far, we still have the power. And that's the beauty of freedom. That's why we have to protect freedom. They want to take all that away from us. We shouldn't let it happen. Because they still, at the moment, have to answer to us in some degree. And so we need to use that to make sure that we retain that. Muscles not used or muscles loosed. So these are rights that we need to exercise and use. That's why I created the Freedom Restoration Foundation, guys. It's there. I'm not saying it's the answer, but it is part of the solution. It's a piece of the puzzle that's in our favor. So let's use it before we lose it. The other thing, prep and pray. Prep and pray. See, I don't know what Russia's going to do. We've kind of pushed them in a corner. They're feeling surrounded. That's obviously where Putin's coming from. He wants to see some kind of concession from us, but the concessions he asked for are too much. Is he going to negotiate something that's reasonable, or is he just going to jump on the Ukraine? I don't know. Time will tell. But bear this in mind. This could escalate. This could escalate. It could go into WW3. Even if it doesn't, it threatens to further wreck our supply chains and global economies. Even if it's, okay, Russia, we're going to sanction you to the nth degree. Who's going to hurt most? Europe. Gas prices go up. When gas prices go up, it also means the cost of fertilizer is going up because with all that natural gas coming from Russia is being sourced from somewhere else. Supply and demand. They're contained. We can't use their supply. Then the rest of the supply in the world is suddenly in much more demand. And you're going to pay for it in the grocery store. Somebody's going to pay for it somewhere and you're going to pay for it. So that's the risk. Grocery prices will go up. Farmers will have a hard time finding what they're already pressed right now. Fertilizer prices are shooting through the roof. All the stuff that they use in agriculture. And so there's probably going to be shortages and increased prices. So there you go, my friends. There you go. There's, you know, we might sanction the heck out of them, but you still got to face that. Now let's hope and pray that they do withdraw. But, you know, don't put your head in the sand and accept automatically that that's what's happening. There's no sign of it. And then if they do make a sign of it, you shouldn't believe it right off. Don't believe it. Because it could be a rescue ruse. Absolutely. If you were going to attack, the first thing you'd make it look like you were doing was just withdrawing. That's the smart thing to do. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to attack you. I'm going to attack you and then do it. No, everybody's ready for you then. You get your handed to you. If you get the other guy to say, okay, it's over. All right, yay. Wow. And just as they lay back, pow. That's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. If you're going to do it, let's hope that's not going to happen. All right, once again, for peace and prosperity and freedom for all, everyone on earth, regardless of race, religion, color, creed, where you're at, where you're from. All humans deserve peace, prosperity, and freedom. So let's hope that can come. Let's hope we don't have to go through the fire to get there. And if we do, let's hope that it's not as much as it could be. Let's do our level best to do the good things in this world. To be good people, a force for good. If nothing else, let us be remembered as a force for good. Good means you don't do bad things, okay? Good, and that means you don't hurt people. And that includes war. War hurts people very badly. It's just, you got to defend yourself. Oh yeah, you got to defend yourself. Absolutely. Ukrainians, if they're being invaded, they get every right in the world to defend themselves. I expect them to do just that. Absolutely. But same goes with any people. Everyone should have the right to defend themselves, but let's hope we don't need to use that right. So we start with ourselves, my friends. One, prep. Guys, if you've never prepped before, you better be prepping now. It's not just Russia. I'm far more worried about China. And I'm still worried about Korea, too. Korea, mixed signals coming into place right now. Some really strange mixed signals. I'm going to talk about China here real soon. I've been promising it, but I've been all these little things delaying it. We got to get to this China topic. Well, I think that there's more risk now than you might think. You'll see that coming soon. But prep, pray, and call your congressman, do those kind of things. Try to be proactive. Prep, pray, and proactive be. And finally, as I've said so often, as light dispels dark, love dispels hate. Go out and shine your love light to the world and try to be a dispeller of hate. Go do good things. So there we are, my friends. Well, with that, I'm going to say, Greg out.